The show where there are no penalties, nothing is offside, and everything is fair game. This is The Gloves Are Off.
Welcome to another edition of The Gloves Are Off. I'm Moses Woldu, and we got some great topics from writers, quarterbacks, to the unfortunate situation, what's happening with a certain LA Kings defenseman, to other things that are actually much more jolly and intimidating, we'll say that. Greg Buchanan.
Jolly intimidating. Could be me.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both at times.
We're relating to your days when you played with the Yorkton Terriers.
Yeah. It's intimidating.
Oh yeah, before the cameras were rolling, I was like, "Hey, did you play for the Oilers?"
No, yeah. I don't think
Team
so.
Canada?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Okay, this one likes to rub it in. Claire Hanna, if you don't know her just yet, you will soon enough. Of course, the newest member of New Cap Sports. Pleased to have you on.
Woo!
And
Happy to be here.
also, fun fact, a local trash talker too, as well.
I found that out before the camera started rolling. And it's like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that.
Hey, I just wanted to get the blood levels going here, okay?
All right. Well, speaking of getting those blood levels, or maybe a little high blood pressure for head coach Corey Chamberlain, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, they've now lost 4 or 5 or 5 of 6. They've had their third straight different quarterback in, this time a 41-year-old that they had to call up. You know you're in trouble when that happens, and Kerry Joseph. However, he played very well. I'll have to give him credit, and credit where credit's due. Guy had a pretty good first half, struggled a little bit towards the second, tried to produce a late rally. It didn't come up. But with that said, and you look at the Riders' situation, maybe should they add another quarterback into the mix, i.e. Troy Smith, a former Heisman Trophy winner?
So you were in Longboat Way when you were talking about, Kerry Joseph had a good first half, struggled in the second half. The team played a lot better. Last time they played against Edmonton, they got shut out and they were horrible. It was a closer game. Well, closeness only matters in hand grenades and horseshoes, and moral victories mean nothing at all. I know compared to how they were looking the last number of weeks, they looked better, but it's still a loss against a team that down the road you're probably going to have to beat to get to the Grey Cup. So they're still a team that's still trying to find themselves, and they need Darian Durant back in the lineup. Do they need Smith signed? You know what? Why sign a guy right now? Maybe for down the road.
Well, yeah, might as well snap him up before somebody else does. He's still got good talent,
But
right?
you got to blame the Riders coming out of training camp knowing exactly what they had as a backup for Darian Durant and knew that Tino and Seth were not going to be the answer, and they found out exactly how bad they were when they put him in game situations.
Okay, now I'm going to jump in here because you talk about moral victories, and I am a supporter of moral victories. I look at the record from the Riders. They've lost their last 3 games. Quarterback issues all over the place. They call in Kerry Joseph. He does a great job, okay, for somebody who was considering retirement 2 weeks ago to get his head in the game that fast. Impressive.
He was in good shape.
Yeah, I know he's 41, but this is what I'm saying. So they've clinched a playoff spot. They're already good to go, no matter if it's in the East or the West. But they need this momentum going forward. And to have a narrow loss with a new quarterback like that, and back to your question about Troy Smith, with Darian Durant potentially coming back, I think that maybe we'll see a momentum swing on the upgo. And yeah, maybe Troy Smith will be good for the future.
He can be mentored.
And the thing is, okay, what you have to keep in mind now, what's going to go forward going to Calgary this weekend, is that Kerry Joseph played a game Sunday in Edmonton. Calgary gets game tape on that. They didn't have game tape on Kerry for Sunday as the Eskimos prepared to play against him. Calgary's going to be prepared for Kerry Joseph, and you're going to see potentially a big difference in games. Not saying the Riders are going to lose badly, but yeah, they likely will.
I don't think game tape is the thing, though.
It's huge.
I know, but I think Calgary's got a lot of other things
But with
to their advantage.
with that said, knowing what's going to go down on Friday night, you have a team that's already clinched first overall. They've already clinched a home playoff game in the final plus the bye. What's the point of putting in your starters? Get the other guys in. Do you feel that gives an advantage to Saskatchewan at all?
Now I'm going to
Or is Saskatchewan going to be okay here?
Okay.
Can they pull the 2 points, basically?
Okay. I think that Calgary isn't satisfied with first. I think that they still know that there's issues with their offense, with their defense, and that they want to be better. And at this point, I don't think they're going to let up. I think they're going to go out there with their first string. I think they're going to give her. And I don't think that the Riders really stand a chance given where they've been going. Yes, moral victories, whatever. But I think Calgary wants this so bad. They were hungry for it. They were so close last year, and they're going to go out there full blazing.
And keep in mind, Cornish hasn't played a whole lot of games this season. He needs to get into more games. He needs to get ready for playoffs. In Calgary, anything short of getting to the Grey Cup, it's a huge disappointment. And in Calgary too, they hate the Riders. They hate the Riders more than they hate the Eskimos. So they know the Riders are ripe for a bad beating, and they're going to get beat down pretty bad.
No, it should be interesting because, of course, BC hot on the trails. They're also fighting for second place too. BC just needs to win out, and they look like they're in pretty good shape, which is also dangerous for the Riders. All right, moving on to Peyton Manning. He finally set the record, eclipsing the 509 mark, career touchdowns that is, of Mr. Brett Favre. You got huge congratulatory thanks from everybody, and of course the 509 touchdown was pretty significant, I think, because it just, to me, says Peyton Manning, no matter, even though he's only won one Super Bowl, he still won a Super Bowl, and he's the greatest quarterback in history. How does this touchdown record affect his legacy down the road?
Well, it's funny because I think that even before this touchdown record, he was the greatest quarterback regardless. 5 NFL MVPs, yes, 1 Super Bowl, but still, he had broken so many other records. This, I think, just kind of seals the coffin. Like, it puts the nail in it. He now is, like, he's past Brett Favre. He's got a sparkling record too. No underwear pictures or whatever either. So he looks good to the media as well. But I think that this doesn't affect his legacy so much. He would have been the greatest, but this just, seals the deal.
Yeah, numbers speak volumes when you're talking about a guy's career. When they, 10, 15 years down the road, they look back at Peyton Manning's numbers, and they'll speak volumes for what he did on the field. Now, does he want to win a few more Super Bowls to add to that numbers? Of course he does. Will he? The jury's still out on that.
But is he still, would you say he's a top 3 or at least top 2 quarterback ever to play the game?
Yeah, he's got to be right in the top 3. He's either 2 or 3 or even number 1. And again, his career's not done yet. How many more seasons does he have to add to that?
All right, guys, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we're going to talk about Steven Stamkos, John Tavares, and Sidney Crosby. Out of those 3, who's the better player on the planet today? Stay tuned.